VC, Steve Whitty here with a new video, more of the recent listens video. This is number 5 in this new series I've been doing, and the recent listens is all about Thin Lizzy. Been a bit busy on that, picking up some of their albums recently. So I hope everybody's well, enjoyed the weekend. It's not too bad today. Sort of recording this video in between half time in the FA Cup semi-final. So without further ado, really what happened was this recent run on Thin Lizzy. It all started a few weeks back while I was waiting for the local record shop to open. Next couple of doors down, there's a Acorns charity shop, and it just so happened that the weather was a bit, I think it might have been raining, so I thought I'd have a nip in there while waiting for the shop to open. And they do have a fair stock. I've picked up a couple of albums, but I've been in a few times, so they know I come in to have a look. And the old lady behind the counter says, "Well, we've got some more out the bag," and they wielded this big bag out of vinyl, and I thought, oh crikey. And I thought, you know what, I feel a little bit duty bound to buy something now. So I flicked through, normal rubbish. But what did come out was Thin Lizzy's Chinatown. Now, which was released in 1980. Now, I've already got a copy of this, but this was so much an upgrade, and it was only £4. So I thought I'd take a punt and buy it. And I think Metal Ron Hegarty, because this is his favourite Thin Lizzy album, I actually quite enjoy it. It was the first album to feature Snowy White. So its quite popularity stems from the fact it fell in on the back of the new wave of British heavy metal. So all things metal were quite popular at that point in time. Chinatown, the title track, was a top 20 single. I think Killer on the Loose was also a top 10 single as well. It's around this point that I think the fortunes of the band started to decline. So yeah, I am so pleased to have it. Really clean copy and covers in excellent nick. So really pleased to have that. Then in the actual shop, a week or so later, Peter picked up a collection, and in the collection was first this album, which is the Thunder and Lightning album, the last album, the last Thin Lizzy album, released in 1983. And upon listening to this, I didn't realise how good an album it was, and I think really that's due to the fact that Snowy White had left the band, and Phil Lynott brought in John Sykes, who at that time had left the Tigers of Pantang. Also, Darren Wharton became the full-time keyboard player, and their inclusion in the band really just upped it. It's compared to the previous album, this is so much better. And in a way, it's a shame that they finished. Obviously, now we know why they finished. There was all sorts of problems going on within the band, with drugs and whatever. But this sound is sounds so great, and you got to see Thunder and Lightning title track. Cold Sweat was the lead single. That was top 30, and The Sun Goes Down is just an absolutely brilliant song. And I think that was played a lot when Phil Lynott passed away on the radio. Hard rocking album, really excellent. And the first time I picked up a copy, and I thought I've got to have this. So yeah, really pleased, to have this and listen to it. It's up there with one of their best albums, in my opinion. Have a quick slurp. Also in that collection, I found a copy of this Life Live. This was the last sort of like the closure of Thin Lizzy, released again in 1983, recorded during the final tour. I'm trying to think where it was recorded. I think Hammersmith it got recorded. I'm not sure if some of it was recorded at the Reading Festival. But it features all the guitarists on here. So Snowy White's appears on Renegade. John Sykes, obviously being the guitar. You've also got Gary Moore, Eric Bell, and Brian Robertson also feature on tracks on this album. And the band sounded great on this. It sounded great tight on this. Very rarely you see a copy of this, and obviously it gets overlooked by Live and Dangerous. But I think this is actually really good as a live album. It really stands up on its own, and it covers tracks from all faces of Lizzy. So you got opens with Thunder and Lightning. You got Waiting for an Alibi. So some for the Black Rose period. Got to Give It Up. He's on there from there as well. You also got The Boys Are Back in Town. Emerald's on there. Black Rose is on here. Still in Love with You. The Rocker. Cold. As I said, Cold. Sun Goes Down. It's also featured on here. It's a really good live album. It's good as Live and Dangerous. Possibly not, but it actually sounds more live record than Live and Dangerous. I think we all know that quite a lot of that album got re-recorded in the studio. So while I was going up to going out, I thought I'd have a dig in the bins, and I found this. Now I did purchase a rough copy of this. This is called Remembering Thin Lizzy Part 1. This is released on Decca in 1976, and this sort of like cashes in on the fact that Thin Lizzy had become popular at that time, and it's sort of like cashing in on all that early stuff, and it makes a big thing about featuring Eric Bell and Gary Moore on guitar. So you've got probably the best tracks of that era: Whiskey in the Jar, The Rocker. I'm trying to think which song features Gary Moore on here. And Remembering, actually the song Remembering's on here. Now I believe this was also was released as a double album as well. And I don't see a part 2, but it's a great little great introduction to that period of the band. Those early Decca LPs can be quite expensive. I know they have been reissued, but really good. Obviously standout tracks here. You obviously got, I've mentioned Whiskey in the Jar and The Rocker. I actually quite enjoyed the Little Girl in Bloom song from While I'm Away. It's really good, really melodic, very understated. When Eric Bell left the band, feeling it took it a bit personally, and decided all that era of the band was going to he got rid of. We're not going to play that music anymore. I think only The Rocker stayed from that set. So when he got Scott Gorham and Brian Downey in as replacements, they developed the sound, I think partly influenced by the Wishbone Ash twin lead guitarists. And the first album that came out, and I found this in another record shop, this is Nightlife. Got the wrong album. Fighting's in there. This is Nightlife, and this is like the first album that features the new lineup. And if you listen to this album, if you've never listened to this album, this sort of like crosses from the 3-piece Eric Bell era into what we know and love Thin Lizzy, and in a sense, Fighting is sort of like is a combination of that, and then the album onwards. So there's lots of it melodic. She Knows, Nightlife. Obviously, I think the well-known track on here is Still in Love with You, which features co-vocals on Frankie Miller, and in fact, Gary Moore plays the guitar on this album, on this particular track. Sha-La-La-La, which is another Sha-La-La, I think it's pronounced it correctly, another standout track which it was stapled to live sets. It's actually quite enjoyable album. I was quite pleased to find this. Again, I thought that I'd have to pay quite a bit for this. It only cost me £8, so I'm happy with that. And then the final Thin Lizzy album I picked up, and this was an eBay purchase. And I just went on just on the off chance and didn't think I'd win it, but I did win it, and I got it for quite half decent price. Cover's a bit beat up, but it's mainly the record. It's okay. This is Vagabonds of the Western World, which is the third album that the first line released. The Rocker is on here. this said album. Very proud of its Irish roots. You obviously got there. I think Phil Lynott never slowed to hide the fact that he was an Irishman, and was very proud of that. And so this album sort of represents that. Very good album, actually. I think some people have said this is actually their best album. I've not listened to the first two albums as records in their entirety. Would love to get hold of them. It means I'd complete the Thin Lizzy collection. But I think I'm more than happy with this at the moment. Yeah, it's a good album. It's a good album to have. So there, those were my 3 Thin Lizzy albums. Sorry, not 3 Thin Lizzy albums, all my Thin Lizzy albums I picked up recently and listened to. Sometimes you do get that with a band. You come across a spate of albums by them. So as I said, there's a couple of albums I needed to get to complete the collection. I hope you enjoyed this video, VC. If you like what you see, feel free to comment. I'll always get back to you. Thank you to all my subscribers. I'm more than happy with the number I've got here. Thumbs up, thumbs down. Love the interaction. So until the next video, VC, take care of yourselves. Keep spinning. More importantly, keep smiling.